boys and girls. This is Mrs. Martini back with the very final part of the space book. This is at the end of the book and it is called the Glossary. It's where words that we might not know the meaning of or be unfamiliar with or we might not know how to pronounce them are put in an area where we can read about them before or in this case after we read the story so we can understand what we're reading just a little bit better. And the terms in this glossary probably might have been helpful before we read, but this time we're looking them over again because they are important in our study of the solar system. The first one is asteroids. This is the picture of the asteroid. And it tells us exactly when you get to where you can read all these syllables, it spells it by sound, asteroids. And it tells you small rocky objects that travel around the sun. Sometimes you'll hear things about asteroids being close to other planets because sometimes when they're moving around, they are. Now, here is another one that we remember, and that is comets. And once again, it shows you comets, chunks of ice, dust, and rock that travel around the sun. And one of the most famous comets is Halley's Comet. We sometimes you'll hear there's a comet passing by, or comets would come around the Earth at certain times. So don't be surprised if you hear someone say, there's a comet shower or there's something we need to watch. The next term is constellations. And it says groups of stars that form a shape or figure and usually have a name, like the Big Dipper. And you can see in this picture, it shows you, and the Little Dipper, it shows you pictures of how those constellations of stars come or are located together to look kind of like a dipper. Crater is the next term. Crater, a large hole in the ground caused by something falling or exploding. So if a big meteorite crashes into the earth, it leaves a hole like this one and the one that I told you about in New Mexico. Only, you know what, Mrs. Martin, I keep thinking I'm getting the terms wrong, but this will help us out. Meteorites, and there's the picture. Meteorites, pieces of rock or metal that from space that fall to Earth. The streaks of light they make are sometimes called shooting stars. So if you see a star look like it's falling down out of the sky and someone says, oh, that's a shooting star, that's what they're talking about. And it might look like that if you were up close to it once it landed. Another term is orbits. And you see these lines showing you things going around. And the definition of orbits: travels in a path shaped like an oval around a planet or the sun. And there is the orbit. The next term is spacesuits. Spacesuits, the sealed and pressurized suits that astronauts wear in space. And there they are with their space suits to keep them protected and make sure they have oxygen. Telescope, a tool that makes faraway objects seem larger and closer. It is used to study objects in space. So there is the telescope, right? Whoops. There's the telescope. Thank you, boys and girls, for listening to the space book. And I'll be back later with some new books on a different topic of our study. Bye.